Hey everyone, welcome. In this video, we are talking about how to activate your most pure, authentic, beautiful, divine feminine power. And some of the blocks that can get in the way of this process. I'm also going to be sharing two really important trainings that I'm about to be leading and the opportunities and ways you can enroll in those. So, I want to talk to a specific person right now and see if this archetype is something that you feel you identify with. So there's two trainings that I'm about to be leading. One is called White Diamond, and the other is called Pristine, the Sacrifice of the Priestess. And both are designed to support the highly sensitive woman, the intuitive, deep, precise, spiritual, deep woman. This is what those two trainings, that is who I am supporting in these two trainings. And the reason I'm doing this is really as a culmination of my own personal healing and journey. So, if you're familiar with human design, if you're not, I highly suggest it. It is a very powerful system that can help us get to know ourselves at a very deep level. And often, who I attract in this space, in the elevated woman space, are women who are deeply empathic, deeply sensitive, very spiritual, have been doing the work, are not afraid of going into the shadows, and often have, I hope Duke just ate that fly, and often have a, a high sensitivity in this world. And this is not always easy. This is not always an easy path. And one thing I want to say to the highly sensitive is there's only one person that is going to validate the level of sensitivity that you are, and that is you. And often, especially as highly sensitive individuals, we grow up and where we're in environments where that level of sensitivity is continuously invalidated. It's continuously invalidated just by our environment. When we're around people who are not as sensitive as us, it can be hard to voice our needs and communicate how we function because it is different than the majority of the world and a lot of people. However, do not lose your strength in advocating for your needs. I've been talking a lot about requirements and becoming a woman who has requirements and what that means. So, a woman that has requirements knows herself deeply and is able to relay to the world what she needs in order for everyone around her to have success and to win with her. So a woman with requirements is deeply connected to what is going to make her thrive, and she embodies a mindset of when I thrive, the whole world thrives. When I thrive, my children thrive. When I thrive, my household thrives. When I thrive, my partnership thrives. And oh, hi and welcome. Hi, Joanne. I wish you had a super sticker option. That's awesome. Awesome. Welcome, Diana. Thank you so much for this. I am entering a stage in which I need to hear more about requirements and emotional expression. Yes. So often, and this is getting a little bit into the training Pristine, which is all about owning our sensitivity and owning our, sensitivity is either a gift or a weakness. And it all depends on how deeply you own it. Literally, how deeply you own your inner guidance system, which is your sensitivity. So, highly sensitives are ultimately a massive gift to the world. And we are calibrators for this planet because we sense into frequencies we cannot help but be immersed in the frequencies of all that is around us. We cannot help but to have those frequencies take us over, to absorb them, to experience them deeply. And it's a very beautiful thing, and it can be challenging for us when we do not protect ourselves, when we do not protect ourselves with the proper requirements. So I'll tell you a personal story. Hello, Patrice. It's great to meet you too. Welcome. I'll tell you a personal story. I just recently went home to visit my family, and my mom and I have historically had a more challenging relationship. And I've been doing a lot of work around this. I have worked a lot around this in my personal relationships, romantic relationships, the patterns that I am breaking um, from my maternal line. I've been doing a lot of work. But I went home recently, and my mom and I had a wonderful conversation before I went home, and we were so excited because we were just like, wow, like we can totally do it. We can totally have success at this. And I went home, and it was challenging. It was not as easy or as hopeful as I had, I'd hoped for. It was some of the old patterns that were showing up, and it was in moments really miserable, and just reminded me of the past dysfunctional patterns that we used to live in and we're currently experiencing. So I started to beat myself up because I felt like, gosh, I've done all this work and we're not making we're not having success. It's not working. So what the heck, what's going wrong? And I felt really sad. But with more work and with work with my mentor and some digging and some healing, I came out of that experience with what I now call requirements. And these are requirements that lead to success in areas of our life that we desire to have success in. So we can have requirements with our relationship with our animal. I have Dookie here. He's a very large party poodle. And my requirements with him are to have support and to have a level of trust and freedom with him. It's to know, be in a mindset that I'm committed to a relationship with him that works. So what are the requirements that we need to set up in order to make that happen? Requirements in me going home to visit my family. I likely won't stay at my family's house, not because there's anything wrong with that house, but what I require to have success in that environment is a lot of my own time alone. It's just a different environment. It's a different requirement. And this is where, as highly sensitive individuals, we can go wrong, is we try to continuously for our entire life, like you're saying, that you're kind of describing my entire life in a nutshell. We go along and we try to fit into normal life circumstances. We try to have jobs like a normal person. I don't want to say that, but we try to have jobs, and we expect ourselves to be able to handle environments that genuinely do not work for our system and for our grid, for our unique design, our core code, whatever you want to call it. We do not set ourselves up to win. We often don't set up our partners to win with us either when we go into things, any relationship, whether it's romantic or friendship, and we know we need certain things, but we do not communicate them, so I'll go into a different caveat with this. So that's where we go wrong, is where we are not actually setting ourselves up to win or anyone else in our life to win. So requirements are different than standards. Requirements are, they are your requirements, period. There's no other word to describe it. It's just a requirement for you to win, for you to have success. All right, what else do I want to say? So, success, sensitivity. All right, so I'll just check in. It'll come back to me. But does anyone have any comments or questions so far in this talk that I am doing right now? You're welcome to ask any questions while you're here. All right, so I'll just while that comes back to me. Oh, this is what it was. I know it would. So, what is the bridge between us living a life that is incongruent with who we are and a life that creates success all around us, where we can actually thrive in that environment? Hello, Katerina. Great to have you here. Is worthiness. It's self-trust and worthiness and an entirely new belief system, really. So we'll talk about the first one, self-trust. If you don't have self-trust, which a lot of highly sensitive people don't have, because for our entire life, we've been absorbing other people's emotions, other people's ideas, other people's programs, other people's conditioning, and we think it's ours. So the problem with that is if we're not aware of this, we never develop a relationship with our own truth. And to talk about what I titled this video, to awaken the most powerful divine feminine truth that you are, it is actually rewriting your identity in a way that honors you, that honors your highest self and the pure soul that you are. And it requires you to walk into a room that it's like walking into, I see like a cold room. It's very icy, it's very crisp, it's very clear. And you let yourself be all of the programs that you have absorbed into your consciousness and your identity, they fall away. They have to fall away. And in the process of them falling away, your true self, AKA the white diamond, your pure soul essence, your true identity, free of external programs, is revealed. As highly sensitives, we absorb energy and then we emit it back out into the world. This is why we are calibrators for this world. We can reflect back to people exactly the frequencies. We can reflect back to things the frequency that they're at. We can also affect the material and physical world when we let the frequency come through our system and we transmute or alchemize the frequencies inside of us and project a new reality onto that matter, whether it's a human being or a physical object. You have the power to adjust the consciousness of the world around you. There is great power in the highly sensitive, so we have to get to a place where we are owning that power, not apologizing for it. But really, this is going back to the words, we are trusting that it is indeed a power, and it is indeed something that we have. When you've been invalidated all of your life just inherently because the environment around you is not as sensitive as you, self-trust can be an issue for us. So that is why self-trust is an absolute must. And that's one of the things we will be turning on and dialing up at an entirely different level in a new way that you've never experienced inside of the first training, White Diamond. White Diamond is all about redefining yourself, and that includes undefining yourself from definitions that you've absorbed from family, conditioning, lineage, genetics. It involves letting all of that go and ultimately going through a process which we will be sharing in the journey and in the container of White Diamond, where you walk out fully polished, purified, cleared out, clean. Your system becomes clean. And when you walk out into the world, you can absorb and emit energy at a much more powerful level. Okay, it actually feels like something up without the ocean floor or flower stem, as you would say. Yeah, it actually feels like growing up. Yeah, absolutely. So without this internal compass of self-trust, we have no inner masculine strength. no inner masculine power. So we instantly fall into the wounded feminine where we need something to anchor us. And that's where we can get into problems, especially in relationship. When we're unclear about our identity, we will take on the identity of whoever we are around, whoever we are with. So that includes if we're with a partner and they have certain ideas of what they want in a relationship. If you haven't done this process that we are about to do in White Diamond, which is about redefining yourself and clearing out the programs that are not serving you, that are not yours, you won't be able to have that stem that anchors you down, that gives you the opportunity to say an authentic yes or an authentic no, because your entire system is essentially inauthentic. You are not actually rooted in your true divine feminine core, your true White Diamond identity. So thank you for bringing that up. That's absolutely. So if you've never heard that before, I talk a lot about the divine masculine and the divine feminine inside of Elevated Woman, which is my business. And the divine masculine is the ocean floor. So it holds and can handle and contains the powerful waters of the ocean. And the same thing with the stem of a rose or any flower. It is providing the necessary nutrients, it's providing for that flower so it can fully bloom and so it can fully express itself and be, which is the divine feminine. I might need to pick up my computer and move with you guys in just a moment because my computer is going to die. All right. So some people say women should be the container and some people say that men should be. I know. I'm actually doing a whole new training. It's called Magic, and it's a relaunch of my most ancient and sacred codes and teachings, and it's called Magic. And there's new archetypes that are going to be added into that, and one of them is the bride. And we actually will address that inside of that program, because that's definitely something that is a question mark for a lot of people. Is like, okay, is the feminine the supportive one, or is the feminine one the receptive? And there's some nuances in that for sure. I think it is the men's rights to help them feel safe. It comes down to safety that women want, but I think some men can't understand that if their mom was masculine. Yeah. Okay. So I don't like how people say men have to activate their divine feminine, and that is love. Love isn't feminine. All right. Okay. Like my root chakra. Okay. So I'm going to go into these other words. So I said self-trust and then worthiness. So worthiness is required for this process, because if you hold a belief system that you are a woman that does not get your needs met, then you're going to continue a life where you do not get your needs met. That is why we must fundamentally remove and extract that belief system and replace it with something that honors you as the divine feminine woman that you are. So this is where worthiness is required in order for you to activate those requirements. The thing is the moment you activate this worthiness, you understand what your requirements are. There's nothing stopping you from creating the conditions around you that work for you precisely. And that is the work I've been doing. I know I haven't been super present here on YouTube, but that's the work I've been doing in my own personal life for the last year and a half at this point, is getting life to a level of absolute pristine precision and magic and alignment in every single area of my life, and developing the correct mindset that allows me to do that. It's also a massive amount of deprogramming and deleting old things that do not function. Okay, so and now right in this moment, I'm forgetting the third word. Does anyone remember that I said? I go on these streams and I forget what I said before. So thank you, Jill. I really appreciate that. Yes, as you go through this process, you do become more beautiful, because you strip away programs that are literally distorting your field. I talk a lot about what I call the core code, which is essentially this mathematical equation where energy has contracted, and we are energy contracted. And the way that energy contracts is what determines our unique soul expression and essence. And what happens is, on top of that core code is a bunch of programs, whether they come from past lives or our genetics or this lifetime of conditioning, There are programs that layer on top of our core coding. And as light comes down through our body, as we absorb spirit, inspiration, as we absorb light, that light emanates out of us, and in our purest energy, we radiate our absolute most authentic truth. And it is beautiful. It is beautiful. No matter what your physical features are, you are absolutely divine beauty. And everyone can recognize it. But without the deprogramming and the reconditioning, as light comes into your field, you are emitting and being a physical representation of a distorted presence. It's not you. Some really, really powerful work around this is recognizing that for the highly sensitive, often we can be codependent because we feel the feelings of other people and we feel them as our own. And if you have open centers in human design, which most highly sensitive people do, you then are amplifying that energy. I call it times 10. It's amplifying the energy, or times 100. It shows you how much more you actually are feeling. And it's not even your feeling often. So with that experience, it can be very easy. There's a tendency to become codependent because the feeling that someone else is feeling is so intense in your body that you want it to stop. You want it to stop. And in that, we can develop survival mechanisms to stop the uncomfortable feeling. And that can often lead to self-abandonment, which if you're in a pattern of codependency and or people pleasing and or codependency, which my simple definition of codependency is taking responsibility for someone else's feelings and making it your fault over and over again, then you're actually in inauthentic relationships with everyone in your life. Ouch. That may be hard to hear. And I have looked at this in my own life. So I'm saying these things because it has been my journey and my truth to realize that, wow, pretty much all of my relationships, I'm not even authentic because I'm not showing up. I am gone. And that's something I really have been working on with my mentor, Diana, is recognizing that when I don't show up and own my requirements, own my sensitivity, own my human design, own my authentic, divine, sacred essence, own my white diamond core, when I don't own exactly who I am, every relationship that I have is not a relationship because I am not there. This is part of the healing and the recovery of the true self. This is part of what gets us to a place where we decide that it is absolutely worth it to own our requirements, no matter what is potentially lost around us. This is why pristine is also called the sacrifice of the priestess, because in this self-reclamation and ownership, there are things that you must sacrifice. There are things that do not work for you the same way that they would work for someone else. And it is the activation of self-love, self-respect to get to know those things and develop the mindset where you feel worthy of creating conditions around you where you are fully honored for exactly who you are. All right. So I'm going to end this video very soon because I need to not have my computer die. That's a great question. What defines authenticity? Some people think their values are them, but it was actually conditioning. Beautiful. As a highly sensitive person, should you first leave a negative grid first before you can continue the energy work and calibrating to alignment in peace? I love that question. All right. So before I address some of those amazing questions, thank you for asking them. I want to introduce the program. So there is White Diamond, which is the intro and the prerequisite for Pristine. Pristine is also called the sacrifice of the priestess. So White Diamond is available on sale for the next 48 hours, and I put the link here for you. Let's see. But you can also get the combo. Here you go. Okay. So White Diamond is happening tomorrow. It's happening live, and you can join live or you can join on the replay. But we are going through a massively powerful process to redefine yourself. I don't really listen to Teal Swan, but I have heard that I've had people like, yeah, I think she's amazing, absolutely amazing. And she was like foraging this path a long, long time ago. So it's very cool. And then there is Pristine. And right now, I can't find the link in this moment to give you this specific Pristine only. But Pristine, you can buy the combo of White Diamond and Pristine together at a discounted rate if you buy them together. But if you do buy the White Diamond and you end up wanting to do Pristine later, you can also apply it to the deeper training. So I'm going to go into this question. So what defines authenticity? Some people think it's their values, but it was actually conditioning. Exactly. So I would not say that values are our authenticity. To me, authenticity is energy. And that's what we are going to be unlocking in the training tomorrow, is exactly how to recognize and come back to the most authentic energy of who you are. It is an energy, it's a frequency, and there's different iterations of it. And ultimately it's all one, but that's where we get to be really creative, is recognizing that we live in a sea of energy. We live in a field of frequencies, and it is absolutely up to us to decide which ones we desire to bathe in on a daily basis. It's up to us to desire which ones we want to unite with, because all of these frequencies are going to have an impact on our light, on our beauty, on our success, in our relationships, all of it. So that's what I'll say for now, because it's not free. No. Oh, what makes me the happiest and free? You're so sweet. I will say, to answer that really quickly, I really love your presence on here. You're so fun. You're adding so much to this space. It's so cute. What I'll say is, as I own my truth more and more, I remove myself from a reality of trigger and discomfort, and I embrace a reality of absolute pristine alignment. And in that alignment, I feel peace. So, Patrice, to answer your question very quickly, the negative grid is often the belief that we are wounded. But what I'll say to that is, we're not wounded. The wounding belief, the wounding program is that we are wounded. And when we let that go, we end up owning that there's nothing wounded about us. What is wounded is that we have lost connection with our inner compass, our inner guidance system, intuition, and truth. We have forgotten how to listen to our feelings and intuition, and to know those energies as our guidance system. When we listen to our emotions and our triggers, and we abide by them, and we follow them, and we let them guide us to what our alignment is, we end up living a life of peace. Our triggers dissolve the moment that we honor them and listen to what they're trying to say. So that's going to be a big part of Pristine, the sacrifice of the priestess, and there's so much more in terms of what we're activating in that training. All right. Thank you for being here. I love you so much, and I will hopefully see a few of you tomorrow.